We're gonna do the Bluetooth connection on the 63s right now. What's up, guys? Welcome back to an episode of Dirt Nation Off-Road. So today we are doing some more Tacoma work, and more specifically, we are doing some fab work on the Tacoma. Now, previously, we did a video on, common brakes and stuff like that with the Tacoma for our 100,000 mile review of this truck. And one of the things that I talked about was leaf springs. And I had previously broken my Deaver leaf springs. Now, Deavers is like usually the best in the biz, and you usually want to get Deavers for pre-running and good flex and all those things. Well, I broke my Deavers. So we are now looking at a better option for Deavers. And what we're gonna be doing today for the Tacoma is a 63 leaf spring swap. Now, 63 leaf spring swap is taking 63-inch leaf springs from a half-ton Chevy truck, and you swap them, fab them into the bottom of a Toyota or whatever you're swapping it into. Pretty common for old Toyotas. We actually did it on Winters previously, did that like a year ago, and that truck flexes like a monster. But we're gonna get started doing it on the Tacoma today. And that brings us to Mr. Where's your welding helmet, bro?
Damn.
I screwed up, Mr. Anonymous. This is Jose. He's actually the one that did our bumper right here, our beautiful little bumper. But he's already done a swap like this on Julian. You guys have seen Julian on previous videos. He's like Creaky 63s on Instagram, I think it is. Let me show you exactly what we're gonna be doing today. Show you the parts that we have, and we're just gonna jump right into it because we ain't got a lot of time and we got a lot of work to do. So we're gonna get right into it. Let's get it. So let's show you what's going on underneath here. So as I said, I had broken a set of Deavers, and in the meantime, I was using a set of stock leaves with a block. Now, this isn't ideal for any setup because when you have a block, it limits your travel. It also, it just sucks. Don't use blocks. They're absolutely horrible. And I haven't been able to really off-road this truck as much as I've wanted to in the last month or so, just because having blocks back here, I don't trust it. So getting a solid set of leaf springs underneath here is gonna solve a lot of problems for me. Now, one of the big problems that's gonna solve is because we're gonna be doing a hanger conversion on this to go from a, the shackle facing up and flexing down, this setup right here, we're gonna be eliminating this, and we're gonna go, I'll show you the setup that we have right there for the 63 swap. But this solves a problem for me. You can see my hangers are bent, and since these are super duper bent, it was causing a bunch of different issues. The leaf spring was flexing into the gas tank over there. It's just all bad. So being able to eliminate that with some fresh parts and get the leaf springs in there. Also with the leaf springs, because these are for a half-ton Chevy, these trucks are meant to tow. Springs right here, they're meant for towing. So I'm gonna have good flex, good ride, as well as be able to tow with these leaf springs. It's all good, almost no bad. We'll see the bad today as we're tearing it apart, and we'll see how many wrenches Jose throws today.
The bad part is that we have to do this.
Yes, the bad part is all the work. So this is a lot of work. That's kind of the key thing here, but once you get it done, it's nice. So first things first, we're gonna actually take off the bed because it's gonna make it so much easier to work underneath, because we have to cut off the old perches, we have to cut off the old hangers, and then as we're welding stuff on and measuring and doing it, there's a few things that we have to do with this. It's not as easy as doing it on like an old Toyota, because on the old Toyotas, you can literally just cut off the old perches, weld on the new ones. We have to do a little bit extra than that. So because of that, we're gonna take off the bed to make things a little bit easier. Now, taking off the bed isn't too hard. You got 6 bolts holding it together, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then the bed should come right off. So we're gonna take off the bed, take off the rear bumper, and then we'll show you what's going on underneath there, kind of go from there. All right, so we're taking those off. It's been a while since I've taken these off. We'll see how it goes. No problem. Just so you don't have that problem.
Well, you guys should disconnect that part.
Up next, we're gonna get the truck in the air. In the air. Say no more! Chalk your vehicles. How sensitive is this wheel? Oh, it's sensitive. It's sensitive.
I don't know how to find out. I was like, I don't know. You'll find out.
Oh, they are? Yeah, they're real deal. shock's not blown.
See, you don't need me, dude. The rollers right there. You got this.
That's the only thing I don't know how to do. Everything else I can do. Bye, leaf springs. All right, so teardown process is complete. Axle is on jack stands. All that stuff's out. Shocks, leaf springs. Now we're gonna start. So these are rivets. So we're just gonna air hammer those off. Then the hanger will fall, and then we gotta cut off, or those air hammer on those too. Or those welded on. They're coming off, so it matters. We also gotta take off the rear bumper, but it's looking good so far.
Hey, that mount works pretty good. Man, Dustin, you hit it so fucking hard you took off this fucking rivet over here. I got you, I came all the line, dude.
Okay, rear mounts are cut off and shaved, so that's prepped for that side. Then we're also taking off the gas tank because we have to take off this front leaf spring mount and the gas tank is in the way. So these are pretty important because the 63s will, obviously you want to use your same perch because you don't want to have to cut and move the perches. And because the frame bends in a little bit, the shackle wants to sit outside of the frame. So what you do is you get this right here. You weld that on there. I'll stiffen it so you can put the leaf spring mount a little bit outside the frame so that it's going to line up perfectly and you don't have to move your perches or anything like that. So we'll show you how that works in a second, but I'll link these below. These were like 80 bucks from Rough Stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make sense because we're not just because they're fucking loud as shit. Yeah.
Alright, taking a break. Bryce, give us an update.
It's naked.
Very naked.
Fully naked now.
Naked.
Brackets
So,
and everything.
Yeah, mounts are cut off.
Bluetooth 63.
Yeah, we got Bluetooth 63s. So we got some grinding to do on this side, but other than that, all the mounts are gone. So we're ready to, hopefully Jose's math is good. And we can start. We're gonna put the 63s on. So this is the kit that you get for low range off-road. This is a general 63 swap kit. Comes with the what's it, the U-bolt plate, and then it has U-bolts, and then that's not included. That's the front spring mounts, and then the rear spring mounts, and then it has a bunch of hardwares for you. This is shackles. So these are pretty big, pretty long, pretty cool, all that fun stuff. All right, first weld. So I got the leaf springs bolted to the axle. Right now we're just going to be tacking stuff into place. He's already measured, you know, whatever, you know, fabrication stuff this guy's doing right there, the map. The smart guy stuff. He's done all the smart guy stuff. So we're going to tack it all into place to make sure that it's straight and it's parallel and even and how we want it. Let it sit on its own weight, make sure it's going to cycle correctly, and then we'll tack it all into place. But we'll show you all that. Don't mind that. All right, so it's all tacked up. We're gonna put the wheels on and see how she does. That's it, huh? Oof. All right, let's do the weight test.
Look, you're so soft, dude. Oh, wait, there's no shocks.
All right, time to break this shit, huh?
Not my brush. Chill. Nah, dude. Yo, chill.
So most of the time, this will probably be how much weight is on there.
Yeah, because as is, that's pretty good, dude.
All right, we're getting into home stretch. We've now tacked on everything that we want to tack on. We did a test ride. Well, not a ride, but you know, I jumped up there, and Jose jumped up there. So that's between us, it's about 500 pounds. So that's about what the bed would be, plus some tools and everything. So we tested out pretty good. We were happy with it. So we're gonna start welding all of these plates into place. Now the only thing is we have to do a little modification to this. So I'm gonna cut this right here because we have our bumper coming back on, and the bumper has some supports that bolt in right there. So just to make clearance for that, we're gonna do that while he gets started with welding all the rest of the shenanigans. So it's looking good so far. I'm gonna continue. All right, so everything's welded. Leaf springs are in. We still got to put in the gas tank. We got to put the shocks on. We got to put the bed on, the electrical. We got a few other things to do. So we're on wrap up duty. Final stretch. It's looking good though. We're getting close. Let's get it. All right, look, there she is. She's all done. 63 swap is completed. Now, it has been a couple weeks since we finished our 63 swap. Since then, we've gone on a couple trips. We've been out on an overland adventure. We went to Utah, Arizona. We got a video on that coming very soon. And then we've gone to Azusa, gone to a couple other places. We've had some events. We've had some good opportunities to get this on a trail. I daily drive this truck, so I've been driving on the street, obviously, plenty. We've had a lot of good opportunities to really test out these 63s, so I can give you guys some good feedback on how they've been doing. Now, since you've last seen the truck, a couple things have changed. First of all, we ended up putting on a set of 12-inch Bilsteins. I actually stole them from Winters, which the camera's on Winters right here. And I pretty much traded shocks between Winters and the Tacoma because the 10-inch Kings just weren't gonna fit with this setup. You need a little bit longer shock. Now, what I can do in the future is if I get a taller DIY shock hoop or get the Archive Garage or one of the other ones that are out there, I could probably run a 14-inch shock on this setup because it does lift the truck quite a bit in the rear. But then again, these leafs are pretty much from a newer truck, so they still need a chance to kind of settle in. They're going to flatten out a little bit, and then I imagine that the truck's going to level out from there. Now, when we went on our overland adventure, the truck was pretty much even because I was loaded up with all our camping gear and food and tools and all those things. Plus, you have the overland tent on there. You know, with all that stuff on there, the truck's settled pretty nicely and actually looked pretty good. Now, completely loaded up on that overland adventure, the truck rode nicely. Rode fine on the street, and I haven't had any problems with that so far. And then on the trail, just trail riding, driving around, you know, whether it be in 4-wheel drive, 4-low, or 2-wheel drive, the truck was doing just fine. It was a nice, comfortable, soft ride. And when I get an opportunity to actually get some like legit Kings or a better shock underneath this truck, I imagine it's going to be so much better. And then we've had an opportunity to flex it out on, like, we flexed it out on vehicles. We went to the Car Crush and we were kind of flexing on the Honda Prelude, and the flex is really good. You see some good separation between the tire and the fender, a lot more than I'm normally used to seeing on a truck like this. So flex has been very good. In fact, when I flexed it on Bruceberry, which is our Nissan sitting over there, that truck has 37s, and those 37s were big. They're fully aired up, and I flexed on top of that. The tire lifted, but the truck was stable because it was kind of, you know, flexed down just enough to where it wasn't getting all tippy or anything crazy. Really good flex on these so far. Now, for my fellow Tacoma owners out there looking to do the same thing, the only warning that I'll give you is that there's no real write-ups. There's no real, like, you know, spreadsheets on how to do this swap. You're kind of gonna have to figure out on your own. Now obviously we did one here, you know, Jose did the math and did everything to get this to line up right, but because you're doing fabrication work on this and you're cutting off your old leaf springs and you're doing all those things, you're changing the geometry of your vehicle. So that's the only warning that I give you, is make sure that when you start a project like this, make sure you're with somebody that you know knows what they're doing, or you yourself know what you're doing, because when you start cutting stuff apart, then, you know, there's no going back. So that's the only warning I would give you for a swap like this. But other than that, I would highly recommend a swap like this for any Tacoma, because as I said in the beginning of this video, it solves a lot of problems for me personally. It lets me tow, it has much more flex, it gives a good lift, they're strong, reliable springs, and they offer a good ride. 5 reasons right there. These springs are it. Honestly, it's the next best thing to linking. Now, linking is a different story. I might, you know, do some coil spring link type bullshit with this truck in the future. We'll see. I have some other things planned for the truck for the future, but that's way down the line. We have so many projects going on right now that I don't really know exactly what we're gonna do with that. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. Now I gotta give a big shout out to Jose. Make sure to follow him down below, JMFAB Garage. He makes bumpers, he does other stuff for Tacomas, obviously 63 swaps. You know, he's a fabrication guy, so you guys can hit him up for all your fabrication needs. But we are all done with this 63 swap video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channels, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon. You also hit us up for shirts, hats, hoodies, and all those other goodies. dirtnationoffroad@gmail.com. Until next time, thank you guys. Let's get it. But then again, these, I hope you guys are enjoying that dog barking. I hope you're enjoying it. But then again,